Something that has been brought up a lot over these past months is whether the reviewers in our community are expecting too much from MLP. Is it right for us to analyze so many of the minute details in a show that was originally intended for a much younger audience? Should we be demanding so much from the writers, directors, and animators? Are we contributing to the fandom in a positive way with all these in-depth discussions? I'd like to say yes. I know that I became more interested in MLP long ago when I began listening to the analysis of others, and I know that I have helped my audience to enjoy the show in new ways. But at the same time, how far is too far? What if someone says, at the end of the day, MLP is a little girl's show to sell toys, so I think you should adjust your expectations? If one argues that some of the reviewers and analysts in the community are expecting too much from the show, is their argument valid? Well, I must admit that my views on the quality of children's media are often based on whether adults can enjoy watching it with them. Much like with many of the classic Disney animated films. I believe it was Walt Disney himself who said, "You're dead if you aim only for kids. Adults are only kids grown up anyway." And I think that's a very fair point. In many ways, the movies I loved watching as a child have only become more entertaining today. Because now as an adult, I can better appreciate all the effort that went into making these movies. I still quote a lot of these characters in my everyday life because it brings a smile to my face. And I actually see a lot of that high-quality material in MLP as well. This is a show that children can thoroughly enjoy, and it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of them started appreciating MLP all the more when they became adults. Of course, it's always good to see media that parents are able to watch with their children, while not feeling the need to cringe at the stories and characters. But still, there are those who feel we are expecting Lord of the Rings out of this show. And yeah, I can see that. I suppose there are a lot of fans in this community who notice all the little changes the staff were making to the show in our fandom's favor. And they start thinking, we can demand even bigger changes to the show in order to suit our other interests. But I think it goes a bit deeper than that. Even if you disregard the notion that this is a character-driven cartoon, the world is rather interesting. Lauren Faust had created something that is admittedly very rich and detailed, and every episode gives us more info about this world she created. There are a ton of interesting tangents to go on from any episode you watch. Quite a few small details could become episodes in and of themselves, if expanded upon. But that's the thing. Lord of the Rings was about a land, cultures, and legends, so it would make sense to have as much explained as possible. My Little Pony is about characters and life lessons, so maybe it's unfair to expect the same. Then again, perhaps many fans have gotten used to the fact that the community has expanded so much upon the world Lauren Faust gave us, particularly in fan fictions. I myself have only read a few, but even I must admit there are certain elements I came across that I would love to see in the actual show. So maybe that's another reason why some people keep expecting more. They fell in love with certain ideas other fans came up with, and thought that such theories and headcanons really would make for a better quality show. And sometimes I feel the same way. But then I remember something. I'm not a writer. I may have concepts that sound good in my head, but in practical application would be a terrible idea. There are many fans out there who seem to focus on how much cooler the show would be if they added certain elements here and there, whereas the MLP writers are trained to spot these ideas and work them into the show in a lasting and meaningful way. And a lot of people don't seem to realize that. I, for one, trust the writers. I mean, they got us this far. I believe that they know what they are doing for the most part. They are professionals after all. And I'm more than willing to trust their judgment over what other fans seem to think would be best for MLP. We got a great show that wasn't intended for us, with writers, directors, animators, and so forth who care about what they create. I have yet to come across an episode that didn't give me anything worthwhile, and I feel okay about pointing out any questionable moments in an episode as long as I'm still giving a lot of focus on the good elements. But does that mean I'm expecting too much from MLP? If I'm making videos about some of the more minute details in the show, could I be taking things too far? I suppose it is possible. I do have a lot of fun discovering some of the more intricate details in MLP, whether such elements were put there intentionally or not. And I know there are a lot of others out there who enjoy the videos I create. So I, for one, shall keep taking a closer look at MLP and see if I can find any more gems. But in the meantime, I would like to hear from each of you. Do you think we are expecting too much from MLP? Is it right for us to analyze so many of the minute details in a show that was originally intended for a much younger audience? Should we be demanding so much from the writers, directors, and animators? Are we contributing to the fandom in a positive way with all these in-depth discussions? I would like to hear your thoughts on these subjects. And for all those who feel that the MLP staff should only focus on making media for children, I hope we can all remember the words of Mr. Walt Disney. You're dead if you aim only for kids. Adults are only kids grown up anyway. I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.